Hello, all you scientists. Welcome on back to the Science Behind That podcast. I'm your host, Atticus Hamilton, and this is definitely a very different video for you. I am sure that the vast majority of the people that are watching this video do not know what my podcast is, so welcome. I host a science podcast where I break down the science of everyday life. But I had a thought recently, which was, fishing is something that's very important to me. And one thing about fishing is I think that it's very conducive to deep, introspective thoughts about science, about life, about everything. And so this video is the beginning in a new series, hopefully every Monday, called Monday Fishing Thoughts, where, I'll take you guys with me. We'll hit up some great spots, some of my favorite spots, and, talk about the great intricacies of life, the universe, and everything. I hope that all y'all enjoy this content. We'll see what happens, but, it's something that I really like to do, and I hope that at least some of you out there will enjoy it as well, and maybe you'll learn something, maybe you'll have a new perspective on things. I will continue to do my regular podcast, which is here on YouTube. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, but this, of course, will be a YouTube exclusive thing. So sit back, relax, ladies and gentlemen, and join me as we hit the water and hopefully today catch some really nice sized rainbow trout and brown trout. I'll see y'all at the lake.
Alright, well, here's our first spot, which is Twin Buttes Reservoir. And just gonna check this area out before go to Lake Hattie. But yeah, beautiful day. Beautiful day. So this reel I'm using, if you're interested, is, I think that was a snag. This reel that I'm using is an Abu Garcia Rocket Pro FE, and it's a pretty nice reel, honestly. It casts beautifully. Even with these smaller spoons, it casts pretty well. So apparently in this area, there are pretty big crawfish. And I guess the crawfish is what the brown trout here feed on for the most part. Sometimes you catch something, sometimes you don't. But I was thinking about this the other day. That was a bad cast. Look at that. Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. A bad day of fishing is better than a good day of doing anything else. The water is so shallow here. It's pretty crazy. Took me a while to actually get here because a lot of the roads here are on private property, and they restrict completely access to the road, even though it goes to a public lake. So I was just thinking about that, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I think that's kind of nonsense. I mean, you know, all you hear these days is people talking about how they want their children, or they want our children to, you know, be outside instead of being on their computer or whatever, you know. But the reality is they make it impossible to do that, you know what I mean? They make it virtually impossible for kids to actually get outside and enjoy the great outdoors, because you have to pay for everything now, and it's super hard. That's an angry bird. It's super hard to find, you know, roads or access to anything anymore, you know? It's pretty crazy. But when I lived in like Connecticut, it was super hard fishing in Connecticut on land anyway, you know, freshwater fishing, because all of the so many of the lakes were private. You know, so many of the lakes were private that there were very few public places to fish. And even if you found a public place to fish, you know, good luck finding a place to leave your car, you know. So, I don't know, man. But look, a little sandpiper there. Hey, buddy. How are you doing? How you doing, brother? But I mean, that's the thing, is even a day fishing and only catching weeds is better than not fishing at all, you know? So here's something worth pointing out. You see the darker coloration in the water? That darker coloration are beds of not truly seagrass, but vegetation, you know? And that vegetation is where a lot of the fish will be hanging out. Yeah, right, here we are at a different lake. Got my first backlash of the day. That's a rite of passage. All right. Oh, I don't know what that is. That might be a fish. That's something. Actually, I don't know what that... I don't think that's a fish. There's something on my line there. I don't know what that is. But I don't think that's a fish. But you see that? There's something on my line there. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't want to cut the line though. But there's a chunk of something on my line there. Oh shit. Okay. Well, there's all this mud here. So it looks like you can see I hooked into somebody else's, ow. I hooked into somebody else's line here. You see that? Wow, that's really bad. See, this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I wear shorts. I really don't want to cut this line. Oh, okay, well, that happened. At least I'm unhooked now. Water's pretty cold. I want to see if I can pull this out. Oh, I think I pulled it out, ladies and gentlemen. Yep. All right. Hey, that's a win for the ecosystem today. See that? Well, I hope there's not a leech on my legs. But I did get it out. I did get whatever the hell this is out. See, man, don't cut your lines. Oh my God. Nope, look at that. There was nothing even at the end of that line. It probably broke off a hook. What a mess. I'll be right back. So I set up the fly rod. I am primarily a fly fisherman. I do like bait casting, but fly fishing is my primary MO. So I threw a pretty big streamer on there. We'll see if I get any strikes or anything. It's not too hard to cast in the wind. I've been fly fishing for about 10 years. So, you know, that's the thing about fly fishing though, is fly fishing really, I don't know, for me anyway, it really allows me to like clear my head, you know, and connect with nature. So I hope you guys enjoy the raw sounds of the lake. I love the sounds of the beach like this, you know. I did put a weight on my bait caster as well, so I'll be able to throw it out maybe a little bit farther. So casting flies into the wind is a little tricky, because especially with this rod. So this is a 7-weight rod. It's a 7-weight rod. So this is primarily my finesse rod for dry fly fishing. Damn. Didn't think that would happen. There we go. To show you, what the fly I'm using is. This is the fly. It's just a little tiny streamer. It looks pretty good in the water, honestly. I have it down lower because I'd like to get it along the bottom where the fish primarily are going to be hanging out. So in environments like this, fish are going to hang out mostly on the bottom. They're going to hang out on the bottom away from the chop, because one thing about the ocean or a lake or a reservoir is when you have waves like this, the intensity on the surface depreciates significantly the farther down in the water column you go. So in an attempt to avoid the roughest parts of the waves, the fish are going to be deeper down. They're going to be hanging out around the bottom, and they're going to be looking for things that are jerking off the bottom. So, you know, like crawdads or minnows, anything of that nature, basically. Now, because of how low it is, they should be more concentrated, theoretically. But, you know, they may or may not be more concentrated. So it just depends. They could very well be much farther into the middle of the lake, you know, much deeper down. So yeah, as some of y'all may have heard, may or may not have heard in my episode, do fish feel pain? They absolutely do. And it has been shown that they have the exact same pain receptors that we humans have. They can still experience pain. Experiencing pain has been shown to change their behavior, which is a characteristic of if something actually experiences it or not, or if it just if it just reacts reactively. So it is starting to rain, which, you know, I hope that brings the fish closer to the surface. One thing about fish is when it rains, there's a drop in barometric pressure, and oftentimes that drop in barometric pressure can actually bring the bigger fish to the surface, or, you know, get them to be more actively trying to pursue prey. So fish sense surrounding water pressure with an organ called a lateral line. And a lateral line essentially is just a big hollow tube that's filled with like a jelly-like substance. And as water pressure changes, that pressure is translated into the lateral line where the fish can feel it, you know, where the fish are able to register that as, hey, that's a change in pressure, or that's a change in barometric pressure. They also use that lateral line to sense prey. So, you know, the fish everyone thinks about, right, is the shark. Sharks have lateral lines. And the thing about sharks is they use their lateral line just like any other fish would to sense disturbances in the water, but it's related to prey. So they can use their lateral line to sense prey struggling in the water, you know, trying to get away or swimming poorly, which is why sharks are able, man, that was a much better cast, which is why sharks are able to detect people struggling to swim in the water column. It's all because of their lateral line. Damn, look at that storm over there. I mean, right now I have the entire beach to myself. I guess because, I don't know, I guess because people don't like the rain, you know? Man, there's so much stuff at the bottom of this lake. I keep getting snagged on things, you know? This will be the last cast. There we go. Man, look at the rain over there. That's crazy. So yeah. So as I was saying, this lake is super alkaline. And it just is a great environment for, you know, crawdads and other types of invertebrates that these trout feast on all seasons. So it's just one of those environments that, you know, is great for trout. I just wish it wasn't so low, because it is really low, and it definitely is making it a little difficult to get a good troll going on here, you know. But as we do the last couple casts here, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to thank y'all for watching me, you know, watching my podcast, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not sure how long it'll end up being, but I hope you enjoy this video. And there'll be plenty more to come like this. You know, I love the sport of fishing, and I love fishing, and you know, I hope I can share with y'all that also love fishing and science and whatnot. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know, do whatever you like, subscribe, share it to your friends and family. But until the next time, unless I catch a fish like right now, I will see y'all later. Remember, as always, ladies and gentlemen, stand up and question everything.